Torana back together, but we've been waiting on some stuff to arrive. So I'm going to quickly get the cork gaskets glued onto the rocker cover and the two side panels, because with the cork ones you only really glue the side to the cover, or sorry, you glue the gasket to the cover side, and cork you don't really put any kind of sealant on, or you shouldn't have to. So I'll quickly run a bead of contact cement around there, and this is mainly just to stop it moving and coming off. And then with the cork gaskets themselves, they normally don't require any kind of sealant. Well, you shouldn't do anyway, not if the surfaces are good. Over here. And now, as with a normal contact adhesive, you put it on both sides, or both surfaces, sorry. Okay, so that's one side of the gasket and one side of the rocker cover. And now, you normally just press it together. Get the excess off. And then once we've patted it down a little, lifting off. Hopefully don't make a massive mess. And place it down and wait for it to tack off a little. And then we'll come back through and put him on, and it should stay there for good. Okay, so I've got all of those glued in, and they're setting up. This one's been in here for the longest, and if you go into the middle where it's not pinned in, so that gasket's not going anywhere, so that'll hold it in place, and you can then get it all bolted on and torqued up. So we'll duck out here, see where we're at with the Torana, and get ready to throw those on. So there's a couple of gaskets I've got to wait for Repco to get in through the week for me, for the thermostat housing and the water block on the front of the cylinder head. They didn't have in stock, so we won't get that side of it done today, but at least we'll get the lifters, push rods and rockers on, and we'll adjust it up hopefully. So I'll get some lights and we'll set you up in the corner and we'll go from there. Okay, so I've hunted through all my tools, and for love or money I didn't have an Allen key to fit the roller rockers. The posi locks on these things are a 732, and apparently that's not a common size that comes in any of my kits, but Trade Tools had one, so I've got that. We've got a 5/8 ring spanner to do our posi locks and adjust the rockers. The rockers are all cleaned up, ready to go, and our hardened push rods that we measured up for and ordered the other day. So over here, we've had the lifters soaking in oil to bleed the air out, and down in there is all cleaned and prepped and ready to go. So we're going to pop you guys up here. Get this torch on so I can see. And we'll start dropping lifters in and getting ready to pop this thing up. So while we were waiting for the push rods, we had the lifters soaking in just normal engine oil. So they should all be good to go. Just got to make sure they slide down in with no bind. They're nice and free. Trying to make too much of a mess. So far, these have all dropped in their resistance level, which they should have, because the original ones came out 3 hours. Well, working really good and had a good wear pattern on it, so hopefully more of the same for this one. First half in. No issues. Now, back one can be tricky around all the dipsticks without dripping water. Oh no. Okay, so we've got that all done with a minimal amount of mix. And now we'll grab some push rods. Okay, so we lubed all the push rods, dropped all them down in, they're all ready to go. I've gone through and lubed with the leftover ARP rod bolt grease, all the all the rocker studs. So we're ready to start dropping. Dropping on the roller rockers and the foggy rockers. So grab one, see if I can make sure it's right way up. Put it on the back one. And we've also lubed the tips of all the valve stems up, so for that first initial startup hit, we should be okay. So that's just sealed on that one. Just sealed on that one. Alright, so now I'm going to keep going through to the rest of them, and then we'll run through setting our lash on them. Right, so there we've got our roller rockers all bolted on. Everything at the moment is at 0 lash, and when I say 0 lash, all of them are at 0 lash. Doesn't matter what position they are on the lifter, they've all got 0 lash, so there's no preload or anything like that. They're all just taking up the slack wherever it be. Now we're going to go through, and from there we'll turn it, say quarter of a turn, re-zero all of them, another quarter of a turn, 0 all of them, another quarter of a turn, 0 all of them. We'll go through probably 2 or 3 times, so we're 100% at any point in time. All of the push rods are at 0 lash. Doesn't matter whether it's top dead center number 1, 2, 3, 4, they've all been set to 0 lash, and then we'll go through and put our preload on them. So I'll clean up and get set up for the next bit. Right, so we've done our 0 lash on all of those in the first position, so they're all good, there's no slack anywhere, and we're not compressing any of the lifter bucket. So what we're going to do is take the crankshaft and turn it quarter of a turn. Or thereabouts. Now we're just going to go on and check again. So it's still no play, no play. That one's cutting loose. So then we'll take our 5/8 and put them in. And we're going to again get that one to 0 lash. And we're just going to go down that one again. That one's tight. Good. That one must have been on the heat little can. Moved a fair bit. Same with that one. Okay, all good. So another quarter turn. And start at the beginning and go again. This one here. quarter. This one there. To top dead center where we started. So that's technically all the push rods and all the rockers adjusted to 0 latch. Now I'm going to go around another 3 times just to double check what I've done, and then we'll bring these back in when we lock all the posi locks off. Alright, so I've got the 5/8 socket, gone through and put 3/4 of a turn on all of those freeload because they were all at 0 latch. So basically just going socket on, quarter, half, 3/4 return, that's preload. Quarter. Yeah. So they've all got some preload on them. Then what we're going to do to lock our posi locks is we're going to back off the preload. Once I set it down, so the posi lock's just touching down the bottom, we're going to back off the adjuster there, grab our posi lock, seat it, and then go back to that 3/4. It's locked and it's nice and tight without having to reef on the posi lock. Okay. So again, winding down, seated, crack it off about there. Nice and simple, not reefing on it. And you know they're not going to vibrate loose. Again, once it's had a heat cycle through it, we'll go through and check it all, but that's normal. There we go. Done. Alright, I'll go through and get the rest of these done and then we'll see what we're up to next. Okay, so all the side covers are all bolted back on. Oil filter, I've double checked that. All the rocker lash adjustments done. I'm going to grab the distributor because we've wound this over to about 8 or 10 degrees before top dead center firing number 1. We're going to grab the dizzy, drop the dizzy in and time it up and chuck some plugs in it, chuck the rocker cover on, and then hopefully it won't run for too long because we've got no coolant in it and no water pump and no housing, so we can't do that. But we might get it to run long enough to see if it actually fires and does everything it's supposed to. So, by memory, this went that way. Couple came over there for the more. Okay, so that's the mark. Number 1. Alright, so we've got a fair bit of cocking there, it's fairly neutral. I'm going to find the clamp and the hold down bolt and the bolts for the ignition coil bracket. So we found our bolts and that just sits here. Alright, let's grab the rocker cover. Well, that blows. The folly locks do foul on the rocker cover, so that just puts a massive snag in everything I was going to do. A couple of guys said yeah they clear, some said they go close, but yeah, nowhere near it. We're not going to be starting this one up anytime soon because I've got to find either an adapter that we can use to space the factory rocker cover up, or I have to buy another rocker cover. Okay, alright, let's have a think. Okay, so I've made the decision that we are going to start it and run it. I have started a couple of times just to make sure everything is okay and it doesn't blow oil everywhere. So we don't have a cooling system, we don't have a rocker cover, we don't have a water pump, so it can't run for too long, but let's give it a shot, we'll see what it sounds like. And we do have to run the cam in, which we can't do until we put a rocker cover on it because we need to run it for longer than this, but just so you've got an idea. Okay, so that's it. She runs. Okay, so this week we've got back on the Torana and we've kind of made progress. Rockers are on, push rods are in, lifters are in, all the side covers are on, dizzy's on, carby's on, all the push rods are adjusted, everything like that. So yay, about to start it. Rocker cover doesn't fit. Yeah. So I'm waiting on some gaskets for the cooling system. I'll have to hunt around and find a rocker cover that fits and clears the adjustable roller rockers, and it's pretty much done. We can then bed the cam in. But as you can see by the heat and the smoke coming off there, it starts, it runs. So that's what we're getting up to this week. It's not finished, but it's close enough. So if we just needs a bit more fuel. So that's it for the week. Until I can find a rocker cover, that's about all we can do. So thanks for hanging around, thanks for watching. Sorry about the really long wait in between, but we're back on. And there's a couple other surprises coming for the Torana. We've just ordered a set of wheels and tyres, which should look really good on the thing once it's on the ground. You'll see what they are when they turn up. Probably, I'm assuming, just after Chrissy now. And we managed to find a bead roller on Marketplace, so we'll see what happens in the new year, and we'll try and practice something like that. So a bit more toys to play with. So yeah, all right, till next time, thanks for watching, see you then, bye.